Isaac's Eye, it takes these two men, these two titans in terms of scientific history. I mean, Isaac Newton, someone that everyone knows, and then Robert Hooke, who nobody knows, but who actually wound up being kind of the man for his time.
Newton and Hooke have a bit of a rivalry going. They don't know it at the top of the play, but as they meet each other, they find each other, and they find they're both working on the same things, and they're both used to being the smartest guys in the room, and all of a sudden there's two really smart guys.
What I love about what Lucas wrote is that these men are really just our way in for the bigger questions that are there.
Do you want more? Do you want to be famous? Do you want to be, you know, a regular guy?
What is your Royal Society? What's your best of the best club, the thing that you'd be willing to sacrifice for? And what are you willing to sacrifice to get into that club, to be a member of that society?
The human aspect of the story, and that these are these great men of science, but they're unbelievably petty and jealous, and I love that way of looking at things, that even someone who's that accomplished, that smart, still is susceptible to all the intricacies of being a human. I think we tend to look at geniuses, whether they be artistic or scientific or in any field, and think that they are different than us. And they are in one aspect, but at their core, we all have the same needs. I think that's what the play is about. We have the need to be loved, and the need to be respected, and the need to be admired, and the need to have someone to love.
I love the writing. I mean, I think that it moves very quickly, and it's very intelligent.
I think the writing's really fantastic. It's a very unique voice.
When I first sat down and read the play for the first time, I just loved the language. I was just fascinated by this heightened language, and yet street talk too, in a way.
You know, it's sort of written kind of how we talk, but not really, you know, in a great way.
This kind of fluctuating element to this play, right, where there's things that are right there in your face, and then there's these things that kind of come up, and then they surprise you, and you think these two things maybe shouldn't live together, and they really do, and they serve the play really well, and I think I think that's part of what's fascinating about it. So I think one of the interesting elements of the play is the dichotomy of of truth and what is true and what is not true.
The walls are sort of where we document things that are true in the play, facts about Isaac Newton and about Robert Hooke.
The convention of the chalkboard in the back, which I love, which is just, here are all the things that are true. And it's fascinating because they're not the things that you would think. All the things that you wind up hearing about Isaac Newton are these strange little personal tidbits that open the man up in a way that you never would have thought of before, because you just think, oh, gravity, and you think motion and light and things like that, and so you're ready for a real head thinker, and then it's like, oh, he did that. And then and again, not to give anything away, but you know, you hear those types of things that are very personal and very strange, and it's just kind of like LaShawne's character, the actor, says at the beginning, the lies are there to help make sense of the truth.
So there's this idea that there's still a possibility for those things to be true, and I think that's one of the things that the audiences can really enjoy, one of the elements that they can really kind of enjoy, and that's a dialogue starter. The talk home can be, so what do you think of the things that weren't on the wall, but they could have been true, and therefore how it influences what is true and the story and what we know historically to be, you know, relevant. Really interesting, thought-provoking material, written very well, with some surprises and the humor and all that, and I think it leaves you with some things to explore after we're done.
You know, we want to leave the theater having a conversation about something, so I think in keeping with that, writers, you know, we continue to make these you know, program these kinds of plays, so I think that's hopefully what people will take away is, you know, something to talk about.
It's pure theater. And this is constantly reminding you, you are in a play. Lean forward, it makes you lean forward and engage in a different way. I think theater needs more magic. I think theater needs more of that. You can't get this anyplace else. This has to be here. You have to be here.